Welcome to Jets Rewind. I'm Marty Schupak. I'm in Valley Cottage, New York. I'm joined by my very close friend Ralph Schrager. My other very close friend, Ray Clifford, will be on momentarily as he just returned from his bar around Columbus and he's just getting set up. So we'll start. Ray will join us shortly, but I got to tell you, the Jets lost 37-22, and if you saw that game, the score is not indicative of really how they played. And I'll tell you this, forget all the statistics from beginning to end. Anything you see positive, forget it. Everyone's talking about Brees Hall. He averaged like 8.1 yards a carry. He rushed for over 100 yards. Forget about that. The Jets were just, they were beyond awful. They were just pathetic. They seem to have incredible amount of timing when the worst things happen at the best opportunities. And one thing I'm talking about the Brees Hall fumble, but they're becoming so unwatchable. And I got to tell you, I was just measured to Ralph. I was watching the press conference. I said at the second game, I said they got to fire Steve Wilkes. These adjustments or lack of adjustments are just uncalled for. Steve Wilkes he was out of a job last year. He might have been a very good defensive coordinator at one time, but he's not now because that defense, and I know they're lacking talent, that they just can't do anything. So, Ralph, with that, I'm going to get your opening comments, and this will not be a long show because I'm getting sick to my stomach. But I
Well,
want
it's
to ask you something, Ralph.
yes.
Tomorrow morning, who would you rather be on Monday morning, October 6th? Would you rather be Steve Wilkes or Mark Sanchez?
Steve Wilkes definitely, unfortunately. And the funny thing is, my super fan friend Matt Lewis said if we want to keep the show short, we should just accentuate the positive. So that's the way to do it. But the funny thing is that last 2 minutes in the end of the first half, it was one of the worst 2 minutes I've ever seen a team play. The idea that they had them trapped and we were thinking we'll stop them and maybe get a field goal, and they end up losing that 14 points they give up. The only thing I can think of actually that was as bad as that had to do with Mark Sanchez. It was the butt fumble game when people don't remember. Before the butt fumble, they gave up 3 touchdowns in about 30 seconds. It was the most insane thing. But this is right up there with it. It just seems like every week the Jets are topping themselves in ineptitude, embarrassment, and whoever we were thinking might be good of the few players we had, like Will McDonald and Brees Hall, they're not even good. Jamie and Sherwood, his statistics are a joke. The guy can't stop anyone. He gets dragged for 3 yards every time. This is Ray's pet peeve.
How
To get
about
a
Malachi Moore, Ralph, your favorite?
Malachi Moore, yeah, he's not even a starter. I don't know why they traded up for him in the fifth round, or was it the fourth round? And people were really excited about him. He's a dog, and I've never ever seen any reason for that guy to be anything more than a journeyman player. He's just not that athletic, and he's a very erratic tackler, which fits right in with all the other Jets. I don't know what else to say at this point.
Yeah, no, it's just very,
Here is
very.
Ray.
Ray is here. So Ray will be on the air very shortly. But hey Ray, how are you? Or shouldn't I ask?
Wonderful. Oh, just how
Yeah,
exciting that game was.
yeah, I like that jet
Pretty
hat.
happy about that.
Is that the Lavernius Coles?
No, it's actually,
Oh, Eric Decker. All right.
Very good. Very good.
I do like Coles too, but I didn't have one of his.
Yeah, Ray, I was just telling I made my opening remarks and Ralph made some of his. We'll get yours. But I had said too that a couple of things. Throw out the statistics. I don't care. Mason Taylor, I love, had 9 catches and then one great circus catch. Brees Hall was rushing left and right, but he had that ridiculous fumble. But a couple of things really irked me. I told Ralph, I was watching the press conference. I'm getting so sick and tired of our head coach, Aaron Glenn, bringing up the Detroit Lions here when he was the defensive coordinator. And then on top of that, somebody asked the question, will he give up the play calling on defense? And he said he wouldn't. And he related back to the Detroit Lions when he was a defensive coordinator. I can't stand that they keep doing that. This is a different team. This is a different year. Yeah, I'm not saying I know the answers, but he's got to take some sort of different approach. I like the fact that he made a couple of cuts, guys that were made mistakes, but he's got to do that more. And you got to start bringing guys up from the practice squad. You got to tell them, I want scrappy guys that are gonna fight for the jobs. So with that, Ray, I'm gonna get your comments, but I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Ralph. Tomorrow morning, Monday morning, who would you rather be? Steve Wilkes or Mark Sanchez?
Uh, Probably Mark.
Really? Wow.
I don't want to listen to people nonstop bitch about this defense like me. I mean, the defense is so pathetic. It just every game it's the same thing. It just doesn't change. And I can't say it's all coaching, but I don't know what else to say. I mean, I know some of the players need to be held accountable. I think I griped to you guys about Sherwood quite a bit this time, and he just irritated the hell out of me. But I think, you know, it's a work in progress, no doubt. I said, we've said that from the beginning, but I'm not seeing any progress. That's the problem. It's all
Right.
work, no
Yeah.
progress.
You, you,
So
you hope to see progress, but you don't. Again, I start writing notes like I'm keeping a scorebook for baseball. And then I just gave up in the second quarter, but I just made a few notes in the first half. And one was these goddamn penalties. I got to tell you, they had, I think it was either 10 or 11 more penalties today, which is it's inexcusable when a team is supposed to get better. And on top of that, the Cowboys, any guesses if I tell you 400 yards over under total offense, Ralph, will you go over or under?
Uh, close. So it's under.
Ray?
um, I'll say a little over, but I'm not sure. But they had some big plays, so I
Right.
wouldn't say they're a little over.
They 416 yards.
Yeah.
And it's just it's just beyond belief. This defense, I can't stand a defensive coordinator. Uh, Now, with Justin Fields, again, Ralph made a comment last week that he didn't realize with his stats, statistically, he looks good. You can't go by stats with this guy. He was 32 for 45, 283 yards, two TD passes. So there's such a difference when you look at a guy like Dak Wilson, Dak Prescott playing
Oh,
quarterback.
no. You can't
And
Freudian
compare other
slip
teams,
that was.
especially with how
well,
much time Zach Prescott had back there compared to Justin on most of the
right,
plays.
There
right.
were times though when Prescott was pressed, and you could see he's just much more polished and professional. He's poised.
I'm
Fields
not
has,
saying
yeah,
that, but I'm also saying that if you look at how many guys were coming in
I
on
know. Well,
on
that in
just
itself is an incredible story since they were missing four out of their five offensive
yeah,
linemen. We had
and
our
it's
whole
really
group, which has been the most, the best in the league as far as how much they played together. And our two young offensive tackles are like bad and worse, basically.
They had a horrible games, and
well,
they
Membu wasn't good on he made some penalties, but I don't think he got worked on the line the way Fashanu did.
Like to get benched for Max Mitchell is like
Yeah,
scary.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
scary.
and Ralph brought out a great point, Ray. Anytime a guy has a little quickness with an inside move, he gets beat
He's
He
openly.
he
he's
looks like
whipped.
Tyrone Smith on those
Yeah,
plays.
he
Yeah.
Yeah.
gets beat. He can't get beat like that. It's his second year. He's got to show some, first round draft pick. He's got to show some lateral
I
movement.
agree. I mean, he got beat, and it wasn't that he got beat. I don't know if he lost track of the guy or what. Remember when we went for it on fourth down and and Justin almost got sacked and jumped in the
Yeah,
air.
yeah.
And when they showed the replay, the guy that Fashion had, it's like he didn't know where he went, and all of a sudden he just turns.
Yeah, I don't know if that's him not being sharp or the coaching
I
or
don't know
maybe
either.
Fields not
Yeah,
doing pre-snap adjustments because
maybe.
I think
I,
that's a part of it because
well,
you
his
hear every
oh,
announcer every week saying that he's not picking up this stuff and then Prescott, oh there he is, he picked that up, he changed the play. Yeah, I think Fields is in over his head. He's 5 years into the league and he's making rookie mistakes
He
all the time.
he doesn't have it, and
No.
one of the plays that really got me when they were driving and whoever it was, they miss Solomon Thomas. He came in unblocked,
That was
oh,
another miscommunication
and
somewhere. Yeah.
and it's
was
Ralph
that on the
always,
first drive?
No, it was later in the game.
Okay.
but as
Maybe
Ralph,
I don't, yeah,
On
I'm
the
not
first
sure.
drive that when they looked like they were going to score and he took the penalty so that they were at the 2.5 and
Yeah, yeah,
one
yeah.
and he went through I'm listening on the radio at that
Yeah,
point.
maybe you're right.
Go
Yeah.
through and got breached for like a 5-yard loss.
right.
Set up
But
for
I just want to ask Ray something. That I just want to talk about two plays with the quarterbacks. One the Jets, one Dallas. Ray, we spoke about this last year. Going back in Jets history, there was a game like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years ago where they had to go up to Seattle. Seattle literally picked up two guys on the offensive for the offensive
That I knew there was a game. That was the game. Yeah. I was
out of the
thinking.
street. They had four
fine.
starters that were out. Do you remember that game?
I
Oh
do.
yeah.
I knew there was another game like this, and they outplayed the Jets offensive line by a
We didn't
lot.
get
Man,
we didn't get a
handled
sack.
us. It was unbelievable. They just manhandled it, and it was the same thing today. My good friend in Texas, Jack Cadero, he texted me right before the game that four offensive linemen are out for the Cowboys, four starters. But it doesn't seem to make a difference with the Jets. I mean, I think if you put a high school team out there, Michael Clemens would still get pinched on the outside. They still run the ball around.
So when we talk about that, is that personnel or is it coaching? I think it's more coaching. I think if you scattered all of these Jet players onto other teams that were good teams, they'd be better players. I really do.
Right. But I was a little discouraged, Ralph, because your guy, he was inactive, Taylor, LT.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, does it really matter? I mean, I think he has some potential, but he's not going to make any difference on this team. This team is so far beyond one person being able to turn them around.
Right, right. I just want to point out, Ray, I want your response, two plays, and you guys would make fun of me when we first started the podcast when I would say could about quarterbacks, could they hit the receiver in stride? I mean, I remember I kept saying that in the NFL quarterback. There are two plays. There were a lot of different things you could distinguish between both quarterbacks, okay? But the two plays were Garrett Wilson had a step on his man, and Justin Fields overthrew him,
By about
missed
10
him.
yards. Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the other end, Dak Prescott threw a pass to, I guess it was George Pickens for a touchdown. And Sauce, I thought he played pretty well on that play. They were like sticking with each other's play
Yeah, they were. I
down.
know. I just feel like if Sauce would like stop lunging and hitting using his hands, he might be able to have better balance and maybe run a little faster. It seems
Yeah.
so ridiculous the way he defends
Yeah. And he
sometimes.
wasn't like ready for the ball to be
No.
arrived. I
Right.
mean,
But Ray, do you know what I mean when I say, I mean, there
yeah.
was,
But if you're going to pick out
okay.
single, didn't, and I was listening on the radio, but if I heard correctly, Zach had the tight end open in the end zone and he overthrew him and they ended up not scoring or getting a field goal. I can't
Who
remember.
Zach is
Dak.
being
Dak?
Dak.
Dak or
Zach.
just yeah. I think if
One of
conflating
those guys.
Justin Fields with Zach Wilson.
No, no,
Remember
no.
that catch that Wilson made with one hand? It would have been a pick six.
It would have been a pick.
Unbelievable. And then he
Even
threw one over the middle to Taylor. He just whipped it really fast. It was high. It was off his hands, but
Taylor dropped it, yeah.
I think that was half and half. But the point is, he doesn't throw a catchable ball. You have to really make really good catches with this
Right.
guy a lot.
Yeah. But his decision making, it's lousy. He hesitates too long. He's not sure of himself. He's a great athlete. We all know that, but I
Take
don't
advantage
see
of
him.
that.
I'm sorry, Ray.
They don't even take advantage of that enough. I
Not
mean,
enough, no.
No,
but
no.
and then I will, and this is the one. I mean, I know he's going to not be super accurate on his passes, so I expect that in the games. It's not unusual for him to making his receivers have to work a little harder to catch the ball, and hopefully they can still run with it. But the one that bothered me was the quarterback sneak when he got stuffed, and he went
Right.
to the and the guy he should have been following, the guy made went past the first down. He would have had the first down. He
Yeah, I don't
made,
know what's going on in his head. But he did have a couple of, we finally are doing some quarterback sneaks,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
always work, you know. It's like took a few years to figure it out.
Right. But I just actually found my notes. I was looking at my notes from the Dolphin game, but I just took notes for the
Well,
first
but the
quarter.
same thing, Marty.
Yeah,
They sound a lot alike.
yeah. But I made a note like in the first quarter, Malachi Moore missed a tackle, short tackle. In the second quarter, talking about tackles, I think Sherwood missed a tackle on the 3rd and 1,
Well,
too.
yeah, you know what? Yeah, this constant thing where they need like 7 or 8 yards. The guy catches the ball 5 yards, and he's able to just
Shove him.
yeah,
Just
they
push him.
can't stick anyone and move them back. They just
No.
Right, right.
First
Uh,
guy that was the receiver 19, I think he's about half the size of Sherwood, and he bullied him for like 3 yards and got
right.
the.
Yeah. And also, in the second quarter, finally they threw a nice pass. He made a good move, Arian Smith, and of course, they got called back because John Simpson was holding.
right.
Remember that play?
Yes, I do remember that play. And I remember another play where, yeah, was that the play where in one play, he showed a lot of speed. I remember he shot up, and then, yeah, they must have called it back. But
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
like to see him
Lady had a few plays.
get his hands on the ball
So
some
do
more.
I.
Yeah.
I like what I see. And again, I wasn't crazy about the pick when they drafted him. Now, there was a third down pass in the second quarter, which drove me nuts. And again, give Dak Prescott credit. On the right side, Will McDonald jumps offside. And Dak Prescott knows he has a free play. He throws it down the right side, and he picked the right guy to throw to right over Brandon Stevens, and they had like something like 35-yard gain. That was a great play by them. A horrible play by Brandon Stevens. Was he playing well besides that, Ralph?
Not bad, not bad. He had a couple, he had his bad moments, but he had a couple of nice plays. He's had worse games than that. I'm not going to
Right.
single him out.
Yeah. Uh, just so you, I found the notes. The Jets were penalized 11 times for 91 yards. So Ralph wins the over under on that one. The
I
the
put a
over
lot of money on that too. That was my lock of the week.
There's a rent.
Yeah.
right. And I won't go over the stats, Ray, because Ralph said he'll hang up if I do.
Yeah. I think the team quit actually.
I think they quit. To me, it looked like they
Yeah.
quit after the Brees Hall fumble.
That's what
Defense.
other people said too, who were texting me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty concerning actually.
Well, it's very concerning. That's the reflection on the coach too.
Yeah, I think they must have no confidence. They don't feel like they know what they're doing. They're not in the right places, and it's it's obviously a lot of it's on them too. But
Right. And that goes back to coach and Ray. We go to I guess London next week, and
London.
I don't know if you heard, Denver came back to beat Philadelphia.
No, well, yeah, I did see that actually. That
Yeah.
they
So
were still going last I saw, but Denver had taken the lead.
they
So
won. And you know about the Panthers. They came back
yeah,
and beat the Dolphins. I think the Panthers were down 17
and New Orleans came back and beat the Giants.
Beat the Giants.
So the only team in our way now is the Tennessee Titans, between us and the #1 pick.
and
don't-
Minnesota came back and beat Cleveland.
Who did?
Minnesota came back and beat
Yeah.
Cleveland.
Although this will be the year the Jets get the #1 pick, and there's another Manning available, and he actually isn't that good.
And we take him anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if his name was Arch Smith, we wouldn't even know who he was right now.
Yeah.
He's done nothing.
I again, I haven't followed that closely, but I'm hearing that it's not the strongest year in the draft,
Of
and
course.
there might not
Well,
be any one guy that distinguishes himself from anyone else.
Quarterback wise, yeah, it's still early, but it's so far nobody has jumped to the front. Yeah, the number one pick, yeah, that means the Jets will definitely get the number one pick.
Right. Give Garrett Wilson a little credit, even though it was garbage time. I don't know if you guys saw him stretch out for the touchdown.
Yeah, I
yeah.
did. I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
He's a
guy's
competitor. He did not quit. Yeah.
yeah. No, that guy's a player. And again, not to go through all the statistics, but Ralph, Jamie Sherwood led the Jets in tackles with 7.
His tread marks are all over the field from being dragged around.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
think you should give a guy a tackle if you grab him and he drags you for 5 yards. That should not count as a tackle,
Yeah, no,
especially when they get a first down on it every time.
no, you're right. And I
Uh,
think we had an over under for Justin Fields offense. I think I said 250.
Yeah.
Well, he had
Oh,
283 yards passing.
right. How much of that was meaningful?
Well, probably none, and 26 yards
not
rushing.
much.
So again, he got over 300
He's
yards.
going to lead the league in all-purpose yardage.
I don't even like him. I really don't.
Well,
Go ahead, Ray.
we thought it was going to be a closer game, so it turned into they pretty much were passing the whole time in the
Yeah,
second half. So, and a lot of short passes, nothing meaneful.
Yeah, and they were giving him everything
Yeah,
underneath, so it was
yeah.
like, you could
Mason
we
Taylor
could
had,
have completed those passes.
right.
It was just-
And Andrew Beck caught a touchdown pass for the
yes,
Jets.
he did,
So
and we can
that's
do 2-point conversions.
yeah, I guess we did a
Yeah,
couple.
Mason Taylor got one on a nice catch.
Yeah,
Mason Taylor got one, and now, as
the other
Ralph said last week, we all like Mason Taylor, but Ralph thinks he might go to waste on this team. But that guy's a
Well,
ball
he
player.
will. Yeah,
one of several.
hopefully he'll when his contract is up, he'll move on. Uh,
Yeah. But
Was
anyway, go ahead, Ray. I think we're gonna
Lincoln Frank.
close this out a little quicker than some people would like, but we like closing it out because we're just sick to our stomachs. And I guess next week the game starts at 9:30 Eastern time. So you wake up, grab some bagels, and sit back, have a coffee, and have it. Um, I'll just make a couple of closing comments, and then I want you each to make a closing comment. Then we'll close it. We'll close it down. The kiss of death to me is when you hear our coach Aaron Glenn say it's been a great week of practice, because then you know we're in trouble. But uh, uh, we've had some horrible coaches, and Aaron Glenn is one coach that I really want him to succeed. And he's got to not just make players accountable, he's got to make his assistant coaches and himself accountable. And we brought this up numerous times. There was a time when Eric Mangini was the defensive coordinator for the Patriots. And Bill Belichick, I don't know if it was a matter of a 1 week or 2 week, but he took that role away from him and he started running the defense. And I really think Aaron Glenn's going to have to do that because I'm not a Steve Wilkes fan. And again, I'm not absolving Tanner Angstrom as far as offensive coordinator. This is his first year. I kind of like him. I don't understand how our team makes the biggest mistakes at the most inappropriate times.
I know they're amazing about that,
It's
aren't
just
they?
it's just incredible. It's just incredible. And again, they're 0-5. They haven't gotten one turnover, which I think is the first time in the history of the NFL. I could be wrong about that. So
Pretty
I,
amazing.
I'll still be watching the game every week. Hopefully, I know next week I'll be getting up to watch them. So, listen, it was a horrible, horrible showing. I feel for the fans that went out there to MetLife Stadium, just like I feel for, I knew a couple
Cowboy
of
fans.
guys that yesterday they drove up to Toronto to watch a Yankee game, which was a big mistake too. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ralph and then Ray, and then we're going to close out this session of Jets Rewind. Go ahead, Ralph.
Well, the only thing I can say is that, you can go 0-5, but you hope that you look better in your fifth loss than you do in your first loss. And unfortunately, the arrow is pointing down, which is not a good sign. So, there's still a long way to go, but I really think that it's hard to watch the team, and I feel for the fans. I feel for Garrett Wilson and for Quinn Williams. They play hard, they're talented, they don't quit, but there's no support around them. It's a systemic thing. It's not just Tanner Angstrom, it's the offensive line coach, it's Justin Fields. It's just a systemic thing. And like Greg Olson was saying, it's not just one thing when a team is going south like this. And how do you turn it around? You got to keep the guys. You have to keep them playing. If they quit on you, then it's over. If you can keep them playing, like I remember Brian Flores, his first year with Miami, he went 0-8 or something, 0-9, and then they played 500 ball the rest of the year. We'll see if Aaron Glenn can do something like that.
And that's how we're going to judge him as a coach.
Yeah.
Over the overall season, how much they improved at certain things. And look, again, every team is in a situation with injuries, and we're missing, Quincy Williams, we're missing Jermaine Johnson.
We're not even that bad off.
Yeah, compared to other teams.
Worth.
But I just think our roster is very, very untalented. Ray, any closing remarks before we shut this down?
I think it's not just that we're 0-5, it's that, other than Tampa kind of taking the foot off the gas after the Pittsburgh game, we haven't even really competed. I think it's been like blowouts. It's just so depressing to watch, and it's got to be depressing for everyone. So when you say the players quit, how many times can you be down by 25 points and still be like going at it as hard as you can? I know, you're professionals, you should, but that's not easy.
I think they quit before they were 25 down.
I think they quit about the end of the half when they gave up quick touchdowns. That was
insane. That was insane.
Yeah,
called it.
Go ahead, Ray.
I'm in the bar, and they Dallas scored, and I said, "Yeah, well, they left about a minute, so they still got time to get the ball back and score again." But I didn't think it had actually.
Well, I was actually thinking, did they have time to score a third time?
Yeah. I just want to mention, again, I don't want to put him on a pedestal, but I liked what I saw in this new kick returner, Avery Williams. Even though he wasn't spectacular, he was fairly confident. He was fairly quick. I like the way he moved, so that could be a positive move moving forward. So, all right, anything else? But anything else? The NFL? Anything about the
No,
Yankees?
I'm all done. I'm all done.
All right. So with that, for Ray Clifford and Marty Schupak and Ralph Schwarega, until next time, and maybe we'll see you in London, England.